My son is in here. Let me start over. What's up, y'all? It's Maisha Edmond, licensed cosmetologist in the state of New York, also certified trichologist. I'm super excited to be here. It is 4 p.m. on June 27th. I know it's a little late, but that's all right. Better late than never, right? So today I just wanted to make sure I got in this conversation. And the conversation is going to be framed in a question. Are your clients getting what they ask for? Trichology Edition. Are your clients getting what they ask for? The reason why I ask this is because I know traditionally as a black girl going to the hair salons, you could at any point go to a stylist, especially like the old school stylist, and you would show them a picture, tell them what you want, and come out with something completely different. I remember being like 18 or 19 years old, and um, I went to a Dominican salon, and hey, I went to a Dominican salon and I told the lady exactly what I wanted. She said, okay. I said, this is exactly what I want. This is where I want it. And she was like, okay, mommy. I was like, but I want it exactly like this. And when I left out of there, my hair was all the way up here and I was absolutely devastated. So that was crazy. So this is my question. Hey, Mike, is do you get exact are you giving are your clients getting exactly what they ask for as a trichologist? And the thing that really brought this to light for me was when I was looking in a group that I'm a part of on Facebook, and somebody was asking, and maybe if you saw the post a few days ago, somebody was asking, are there any hair braiders that work with clients with alopecia? Now, as a trichologist, right? If you're a trichologist and you're in this hair restoration industry, right? You're kind of like, okay, you kind of switch on your trichology hat, and you're like, you don't need any braids. Let me see what you have. Let me see what's going on. Let me see, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. But the client or the potential client is specifically asking you, are there any hair braiders that help or that braid people with alopecia? And so, of course, as a trichologist, we're kind of like trained to start going into some of our preliminary questions, which is, okay, it's not just alopecia. What kind of alopecia do they have? What is the state of their hair? What is the state of their scalps? You know, what is the reason as to why they even have hair loss, right? What things are they doing? What products are they using? Are they using any tools? Are they under the care of anybody else? Are they using these braids to just kind of cover up? And so when I'm asking you, are the clients getting what they ask for? I feel like a lot of times as trichologists, we are leaving a lot of money on the table when we don't meet the client where they are. At the same time, right? I'm not really one for too much negotiation if you agree to be my client. I like to, to give my opinion or expertise on what is best. And then I will decide to either service the client or not, right? But when you have people that do know that they have some form of alopecia and they're asking, listen, I know I got hair loss, but is there anybody that braids on top of this, right? Because I have a client that came to me maybe like 2 years ago, and she called me. She found me on Google, and she came in. She asked, do you help people with alopecia? And I'm like, well, yes, of course. And so it was an early day for me. She asked, could she come by? She came on by. Gave her like an impromptu consultation. And she literally had a whisper of hair, a whisper, right? And I was like, well, I'm asking, okay, what are your goals? So this is one thing that you want to ask. What are your hair growth goals? Right? So first thing I asked her is like, what is your goal? Because literally she had no hair. And it was like literally like peach fuzz, and you could see her skin. So there was like nothing to style. There was nothing to style. She's older in age, right? So I made sure that I kind of solidified where she was in her life, right? So when she came to me, she said, "Do you help people with alopecia?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." But when I looked, like there was literally no hair on her head. So I'm like, in my mind, like, what are all the things that I can do, and how long would I be helping this woman? And what one thing that she said to me, she said, "I've been to doctors, I've been to dermatologists, I've been to other stylists," and she said, "No one listens." So she was saying how humiliated she was, and how she felt so dismissed going to a specific dermatologist in her area, because they kind of were just like, "Okay, well, you just got alopecia, and tell her what kind." They didn't even touch her, didn't look at her, had her waiting for however long she was inside the room by herself. She's nervous, but she's hopeful. They walk in and they just look at her like, "Okay, well, you just got alopecia. You'll never grow your hair back, blah, blah, blah. And, maybe you can get some steroids, write a little something and walk out." And she said, she was shocked. And she went to her car and she sat in her car for 2 hours and she cried. And so she said, "Listen, I'm not really hopeful about how long it will take to grow my hair back, or if I can." She said, "I didn't even really realize that I had been without hair for this long, but then I started to go through, look at pictures, and I wondered why my stylist never said anything. But we never did hair in front of the mirror. She would come to my home. I lost a lot of it during COVID. She's platinum, like she was like doing like platinum blonde styles and relaxing and all this other stuff." So all she knew is she got out the chair, she looked amazing, she went on about her business, it was time to come back. So she was saying how, and this is where I had to really like kind of listen. She said, like, "I really have a really heavy itinerary. I do a lot of things that I'm in the public eye, and I'm not willing to look like this and have no hair while you're doing whatever treatments." And so right then I knew that I had to give my client what she was asking for. And thank God I was equipped. So as a trichologist, I'm not only doing treatments, I'm not only helping with nutritional suggestions and all those other things. But another thing that I'm doing is I'm making sure that I'm more well-rounded, so that when I say that I can help you, I have some type of way to help. So I had taken some classes and did like some extensive training over the years for cranial prosthetics. And so I was able to fit her for a cranial prosthetic, and just look at some pictures, some of the pictures that she liked, how she liked to look when it was her own hair. And I was able to not only replicate that look, but I also was able to bring her up because it was a little dated, and so I was able to give her a little, a little pizzazz and everything like that. And so my question to you, as a trichologist, healthy hair care specialist, is: are your clients getting what they ask for? Or are you immediately telling them why they shouldn't, and giving them all the trichological terms and telling them what they need to do and why they can't do and all this other stuff? Because I would, now, if it's something that's like completely unethical to you, then absolutely no. But if you're able to help the client, then is it going to be your goal to push them into a treatment plan? Because that's one thing that I've learned too. Like I was doing some um, consultations over the phone, and one lady, she said, "I went all the way to Connecticut, and when I went, I walked in, and the trichologist kept, the trichologist kept trying to shove products in my face." She said, I've been living with this hair loss for this many years. And I was trying to tell the trichologist what I needed and what I was going through. And she kept trying to shove products in my face. And so that's another part of it too. Just because you know and you understand, or you're, maybe you're product based and you're like, okay, well, I have this product and this might work, and I have this tool and this will work and all that other stuff. If the client is asking for a specific thing, as a trichologist, right, just like as a stylist, are you giving the client what they need? Yes, but are you also giving the client what they ask for? Or are you going to allow them to just let them know, listen, I hear you. This is what you want, but this is not feasible, or this is not something that I offer. Because I don't want you to be pushy in your trichology. Haley, where now you're starting to, you're getting clients and people are coming into you and they're seeing the results, but they're saying, hey, can you do braids? Like, are you going to say, well, you don't need braids because, see, the leading cause of your hair loss is that you had too much tension? And so it's like, yeah, share the information, but then you just kind of want to let them know, like, maybe this is not the best for you. But if the client is coming to you for braids and they know that you have an expertise with helping clients with various types of alopecia, are you going to help them? Are you going to give them what they're asking for? Or are you going to guilt them and make them feel like they got to take your treatment plan, your shampoo, your conditioner, your supplements, come sit underneath your LED, get treatments and all? What if they don't want that? What if they said, you know what, I want somebody to take care of my scalp. I want somebody to be to be mindful of the thinness and do things around it, and kind of give me some other options, but I don't want to be pushed into a treatment plan. Are you able to help that client? Or are you not that kind of trichologist? And this is where it's very important for you to understand what type of trichologist that you want to be. Because when you pinpoint that, when you know that, okay, I don't want nothing oozing, pussing, bleeding, crusting. I don't want a client that doesn't have edges. I don't want a client that doesn't have this, doesn't have that. I don't want a client that's dealing with A, B, or C. Then it really helps you to market properly. And it also helps you to decide what to offer. Because if you're saying you're a trichologist and it happens to be the buzzword this week and everybody's looking for a trichologist, and then you say you're a trichologist and they say, okay, good, you're a trichologist. Do you braid? Can you help me with alopecia? And I also want braids. Like, are you going to shove your brand of trichology down their throats? How are you going to help this client? Are you going to help the client? And that's one of the reasons why I really love case studies, because when you look at case studies, I'm always asking the question, it's like a real life fact. I get it. You see the breakdown. You see what it is. You see how the client, you see how the client is going through. Now, after you see everything that they're going through with their hair loss, my question is, in real life, how are you going to help them? Are you going to be able to help a mom who's 30 years old, still cares about how she looks, wants her hair to grow back, but doesn't necessarily want to look like she's in treatment? Are you able to really help that client to get what they need from you, but also have a level of compromise where they get what they want, or you allow them to be heard and still do what you need to do as well? And one thing that I want to share with you is that clients are 80-20, just like you are, but we are 80-20 in an opposite way. They're 80-20 what they see and what they need. We're 80-20 what they need and what they see. And so when you push your agenda on the client, it kind of makes them feel like they're not being heard. And so I want you to really work on listening and coming up with those alternatives that you can put in place so that the client is able to feel like they're being heard, but get the best care that they possibly can. All right. Now, I did say that I wasn't going to do case studies, but I feel like I should do case studies again because I feel like it's needed, and that a lot of the newer trichologists and healthy hair care stylists are really pushing their brand of trichology. You got to take these pills. You got to use this shampoo. You got to use this conditioner. You got to come in for this, but you're not listening to the client. And there could be a way that you could come up with, and that's how you really get your money, coming up with a customized plan for the client that takes into consideration their lifestyle, their look, what they need, what they want, and bringing it all together and customizing that plan for them over a specified amount of time so that they can look and feel great. You are restoring confidence, not just hair. You are restoring self-esteem. And so when you don't listen, you invalidate the client. And so the question is for you today: Are you getting? Are your clients getting what they're asking for? All right. So I want you to think about that and really start to brain dump. How am I able to really help the client, make them feel like they're being heard? And if I can't give them what they're asking for, come up with an alternative that still makes them feel heard and still give them the solutions that they're looking for. I hope I helped you today. Have a great day today. Happy hair growth.